So that was Afterlife by Evanescence, and it's worth noting that I played this song in drop C, but the actual real song is, I believe, in drop G, and I just wanted to use a simple guitar. I played a 6-string guitar for this one, so it wasn't completely accurate, but we want to talk about how we constructed the tone for this one. So one thing to quickly get out of the way, I was using a transpose because I was in drop D tuning, and I wanted to go down to drop C, so I went down 2 semitones. Those 2 blocks are turned off in the preset, but if you need to tune down from drop D or whatever, you can turn these on and off. You can delete them, it doesn't matter. Now we've constructed the tone into 2 distinct scenes. We've got heavy, which obviously is for the heavy part, and then there's clean, which kind of has that, it almost sounds like a System of a Down clean sort of bass sound in a way. I actually think it's got a very interesting clean sound, and when I first heard that, I was initially going to use like the PV 505 that we got here, but then I was like, if you want to clean, you really need to go Roland Jazz Chorus. So we're going to be talking about the clean tone first here. I've got the volume cranked to 7, I've got the bass at 5, mid at 5, and treble at 5, and I've got the bright switch on. Now, I could have probably pushed up the bass just a little bit, but I found this actually worked in the mix quite well, so I left it as is. With the cabinet, I'm using just the Roland Jazz Chorus standard 212 cabinet. Now, I've got a simple delay on here with a really low mix, quite a low delay time as well. Feedback low and trails on. I'm not really doing anything out of the ordinary here. The one thing that I really did was drop the mix down and the delay time. I also have a really subtle plate reverb on here as well, just to widen things out and get them to sound a little bit more kind of fuller, especially in a mix. I pulled the decay down and didn't really mess with anything else in here. I just kind of left it as is. And then lastly, we've got a low high cut where I cut at 80 and then 8000 just to kind of clear up any high end fizz off the sound. And that, interestingly, so I'm actually controlling that by turning the lane off. You can see I've constructed these differently. There's many different ways to do this on the Quad Cortex, but basically I did top row heavy and then bottom row clean. And then what I do is I just assign this muted parameter to a scene, and then you can see I'm able to turn it on and off basically. So I do that for this one over here and then this one down here. So both lanes I'm assigning the muted property, but that's the clean tone. It's really, really simple. The heavy tone is also quite simple as well, as you're about to see. I'm using the classic tube screamer with the overdrive turned down, the tone at neutral at 5, and the level pushed to 10. That just gives you like an EQ and a boost for the amp. That's like the classic, I guess, metalcore metal sound, especially with these PV amps. Now, interestingly, I think Evanescence use Mesa Dual Rectifiers or some kind of Mesas, and I don't know about you, but I find the Dual Rectifier and the Quad Cortex to be terrible, and I actually refuse to use it because I think it's broken. So what I did for this was I used the PV505 lead, really subtle gain. I didn't want to push it too much. So that's at 6, bass at 6. I did dime the mid back a little bit as well, just to kind of give it a bit more of a Mesa quality. The treble slightly pushed at 6.2. Presence once again 6. I left the depth at 5, and I put the master at 5. And then on the cabinet, we're just using this 412 EV Straight G12. And I'm not doing any EQ or anything like that on there because we're also doing the same thing that we did on the clean channel here. So that's really the 2 scenes, and you can see that I've just got the clean and then the heavy, and it's just switching between them, and that's the preset. It's really, really basic. It may not be 100% accurate to their tone, but I think it gets close enough that in a mix, you're not really going to be able to dissect it that much. It really would only be noticeable if you compared the original stem tracks to what we have here. But as you can hear, I think it worked really well, and I'm really happy with it. So have fun playing around with it. And if you're building this on another modeler as well, hopefully that helped you as well.